Hi everybody, welcome back to the Bible Show. Today it's going to be another video on how to really bring back the um, culture of the 90s. Um, hope that doesn't sound too repetitive at this moment, but I was thinking about a lot of things recently, and I'm going to take a dive back into the past. I'm going to connect it back to modern day, and I'm going to make this hopefully somewhat it's going to be understandable. So I think I was very fortunate. I was able to really connect a lot of dots today. So it's very interesting in life how certain events they, they sort of expose people. Um, a very sad event. I don't want to talk about it. It's just something that really exposed everybody. It's just like a test in life. Like maybe a math test in school really exposes you to how much you don't know about math. Maybe a driving test exposes how much you don't know how to parallel park. Um, I'm not the best parallel parker. Throw myself in there. Maybe a test from life or a test from God exposes how much um, we still don't know about what we want to do in life, perhaps. So definitely a lot of tests in life, and sometimes it doesn't present itself as a direct test. Sometimes it's sort of it's indirect. If um, if I put like a Pokemon card on a table in front of 10 people, and I judged everyone's reaction, I can sort of get a gander for what people feel about Pokemon cards. So I guess it's sort of stimuli in life can sort of produce different reactions, and events are like groundbreaking events or very pivotal events in history are sort of like stimuli, and we can sort of judge people's reaction. It's super amazing now how we have the internet to really get people's reactions, and people actively share their reactions too. And I'm gonna take head back to the past and talk about the assassination of the great Mr. Charlie Kirk. So the details of the event, I think everybody already knows, but the aftermath really shows sort of everybody's true colors. Um, I think we really got to see who really has solid character. Some people were standing up for Mr. Charlie Kirk, even though maybe they were Democrat or very leaning towards the LGBTQ side. I'm assuming that many LGBTQ dislike Charlie for his rhetoric as a Christian. I'm not sure if anyone knows the verse about effeminate men in Romans, effeminate men and women in Romans. Um, but a lot of people have the character, the the righteous side, as I call it, sometimes to really say that even though they were left leaning, to be like really apathetic, like some people said they weren't happy, which is so a terrible thing to say, but that's sort of people's reaction. They were happy X the I'm not gonna talk about it like that. They weren't happy what happened about the passing of Charlie, nor were they sad about it. So there was some ambivalent reactions, which I think definitely on one hand it's a great show of character. On the other hand, it's a great it's some prudence to not really reveal what you're thinking. Also, maybe you're just really apathetic to the situation, as well as like many other things. But um, those reactions, I think you really get a lot of information about people's character and people's level of attention to the matter. And other times, sort of like other reactions that we got were people very sad, like myself. Um, not virtue signaling. I shouldn't even talk about myself. There was a lot of people very sad about what happened to the great Mr. Charlie Kirk, and yeah, I was definitely one of them. I was definitely very sad, very hurt, very hurt by what happened. And there were other people who were celebrating it like it was the best thing that happened to them since maybe I don't know, the last best thing that happened to them. It was the best thing that happened to them since the last best thing that happened to them. And it really showed to some people's characters, not just characters, sort of beliefs and ideologies. There's definitely like a lot of like righteous side users, a lot of solid people, but some people. I guess we might talk a little bit about it now, sort of with like the three slants of people we have. Right, I might change the nomenclature. So the angel's eye, hybrids, and devil's eye. And some people are like there's different like types. There's different types of angel's eye. There's a hyper righteous. Like if we break down the angel's eye, there's hyper righteous, medium righteous, and lower righteous. And I guess sort of the point with this is that even though someone is a righteous eye user, some people are just born with a lower amount of righteousness, which is sort of like a self-righteousness. A lot of lower righteous eye users, they sort of have a self-righteousness about them. Like a lot of women that are like lower righteous eye users or hybrids, no lower righteous eye users, they have a self-righteousness about them. Like they think they're the law on morality, especially like actually I don't want to give I'm not gonna give attention where I don't need to, but it's I guess the point I was trying to make was that even though like I guess this is just some wisdom in life, not like I know a lot. Even though someone is a righteous eye user, like of course with their ideology and sort of like the slant of their soul, maybe they're like a weaker soul. Maybe they're like a lower righteous or not hyper righteous, and you can really judge that with someone's eyes. That can really affect their worldviews and viewpoints. And even though like someone's a devil's eye, someone could still be like a diehard like Charlie Kirk fan, and could still be very sad. So even though their soul is really slanted towards one direction, they can still really be a huge fan of Charlie Kirk. Although most devil's eye users are like left-leaning or Joe Biden, or they are a big fan of President Joe Biden. Something about Joe Biden is, I'm pretty sure he's a devil's eye user, and just like devil's eye users with politics, it's like they sort of have a love for darkness. So like it really upsets them when like a righteous eye user like Trump comes in and sets everything straight. I noticed there's so many devil's eye users, they dislike Trump, mostly because of his righteousness, and maybe like a little bit because of his like arrogance. But like I wouldn't even call it arrogance. It's how you view it, like maybe showboating or just being a character, or just being very adamant in a semi-comical way. But it's very interesting how like different slants affect politics, and I guess it's not the main point, but it's a side tangent sometimes. Even though someone has like a good heart, like if they're weak, if you're a weak person, like if you have a weaker soul, it's really hard to enforce what you believe in. And especially if you're lower righteous, it's hard if you're and you're weak soul, it's hard to enforce. Like you sort of lack the substance really enforce what little you do believe in. So that produces a lot of what we have today. And in the past, this was kept in check because society was so much tougher, so we all had to stick together. Now that society is a lot easier, it's very interesting in a way. We really see how people's soul slants play out, and that's sort of the point of society that I'm pretty sure we're in today. Pretty sure, which is it's pretty interesting how people's souls play a big part in society. There's so much like money going around, as in there's like we're at a point where like certain people can like you can get a lot of money for supporting certain views, which a lot of figures before me have mentioned before. This is nothing, nothing novel or new. So credit to them. Like, if you support certain views, you're gonna get a lot of money. Like, yeah, let's go say you're a Trump supporter. I'm sure you'll get a lot of support from MAGA voters uh, if you support the LGBTQ, which we're going to talk about later. You get a lot of support from like left-leaning groups like Black Lives Matter and a lot of like other left-leaning groups like I know Mr. George Soros. Um, he funds like a lot of like BLM and left-leaning stuff. And his soul slant, he's like a lower righteous, weaker soul, not necessarily hyper righteous. So it's very interesting how he might. I don't think he's a hybrid. He's like a lower righteous, but even though he's a righteous eye user, just due to the weakness of his soul, maybe he's Jewish as well, so he doesn't have, with all the respect, perfect morality. He doesn't have the New Testament. He just doesn't have the perfection of Scripture. I'm not sure if he's converted yet, but yeah, it's interesting how with his soul slant, maybe his weakness. I'm not sure. Maybe I could be wrong. He could be a devil's eye. I'm not too sure. But my estimate right now is like he's a lower righteous user. So even though he's a righteous eye user, he still supports like BLM and anti Old Testament stuff. So that's very interesting. George Soros. There used to be a channel on BitChute.com that talked about George Soros like funding a lot of stuff. His name was Maldi Buddha. I'm not sure. I hope he's well. But another recent event that really exposed a lot of things to me was sort of the what I mentioned recently. One of my shirts was the arrest of the Tate brothers, which it didn't upset me as much as the Charlie. Like it didn't hurt me as much as what happened to Charlie Kirk. I think, of course. So I think people sort of understand what I'm trying to get there, but I think it was another stimuli that I think people were able to. I think if you are sort of like a focal point, you take a stance on a side, I think you're going to produce a stimuli and you're sort of going to get people's reactions. And it really got me thinking, like, of course we know that, you know, like, there's a lot of fake news out there. They're really trying to slander the Tate brothers, like, just make stuff up, really just slander their reputation. This is really like cognitive origin of authority in full force. It's really slandering someone's name. And I think a lot of people are apathetic to it. Some people are going to buy it, like, buy the whole thing. But yeah, it's for the people who do believe it, it seems pretty bad. But for most people that are apathetic, I think it seems not too bad. So the situation's not too bad of how I currently view it. But just getting people's reactions, or just really judging people's reactions from the whole situation, it really is, well, it gave me a little bit more insight into like today's culture. And so I'm assuming a lot of the same people that dislike Charlie Kirk, may he rest in peace, may his soul rest in peace, as well as the Tate brothers, are a lot of like gay and LGBTQ. And they got me thinking, sort of like with the culture compared to today, there's like a lot more gay and LGBTQ people in this world. And if we think about it, the first point I want to insert is that besides, I'm not sure if I want to insert that point, but I sort of lost my train of thought. So I'll go into the second point first, and hopefully it makes sense. So, sort of how male and female culture operates is that um, men sharpen men, men sharpen men like iron sharpens iron. And what we really have in today's culture is that there's so much gay and LGBTQ people and like half androgynous like androgynous men like sort of some people like choose to dress like women, cross dressers. Um, there's people who really it's just men that tap into their femininity way too much. Um, so we're losing a lot of the male population, especially with the lack of kids being produced, and that produces a problem. That produces a lack of competition, and a lack of competition produces low quality men, and low quality men produces low quality women, as women are not attracted towards the men, so they go pursue other things. And low quality women produces a lot more low quality men as men go really they go MGTOW and stop pursuing other women that test them and really sharpen them. And the then these left leaning groups really push gay and LGBTQ and trans stuff. And then what happens is sort of there's more gay, LGBTQ, and trans people, and there's less and less men, so there's less and less competition. Quality of men decreases, quality of woman decreases, and we get this sort of culture that we're in today, sort of an unfun culture, unfun, because the world is most fun um, with masculinity, from the straight guy's opinion, and the world is most fun with a decent level of femininity, sort of like the 80s and the 90s. And we have a big problem right now where there's a lot of enough gay and LGBTQ and trans people to really damage the culture, to really just destroy the competition inside men. So men like don't have the burden of performance to be masculine, and it really destroys women too because they don't have like sort of a purpose, like something to chase or covet after. And this creates sort of the culture we have today. It's sort of the guys are just like lower quality, a lot lower quality than in the past, and the women are just this sort of like powder puff girls. Girls are mostly hanging with their friends, hanging together, really avoiding all men, including gay men and trans and LGBTQ people. Sort of, so there's sort of a three-way divide. We have regular guys, we have girls, and now we have a third divide of gay and LGBTQ people. So besides the divide between men and women, there's also like a third group that's exerting pressure in both groups, and that's creating a lot of the unfun culture that we have today. So sort of like um, an idea that I have, sort of like from the cognitive origin of satisfaction, is that it's very important. Many great figures before me, and many great people to come in the future, to really push back against gay and LGBTQ. And besides it being wrong in the Bible, um, just speaking from a societal standpoint, it it's so damaging to the quality of men by having gay and LGBTQ people, because it really destroys the burden of performance. And with men, and sometimes with all due respect, their lack of knowledge, their lack of understanding in certain areas, that lack of competition really the just lack of any sort of sharpening in a guy really kills an attraction in a woman, and that causes her to go WGTOW her own way, and then the fun dissipates. A woman is no longer actively like putting in effort for most guys to like pursue a guy, and guys are trying to put in effort, but it's so difficult because guys are chasing, but women aren't even staying in the same place. They're running away. They're running towards a different direction. So really bad culture we have now because of um, the gay just the wide scale presence of gay and LGBTQ people. So definitely, like, besides being a Christian, just as a straight man, if you wanna, like, I think if a straight man wants to have a great time in life, um, to really bring back a fun culture, it's really important to have like a healthy competitiveness between men, to really have that burden of performance. And because with all the gay people about and amok, and it's how it's so normal to be gay, um, it's absolutely destroying like the fun and the culture. I'm sure like, and I see this, it's nuanced too, because actually, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Lord have mercy, devil's advocate. I'm not sure if that's right to say. Like some of them, some of the most fun I've had in life were just yapping. Like I've had some like really close friends, like best friends even that were gay. We would just say a bunch of dumb stuff together, and as long as I didn't really mention anything about the Bible or Christianity, I think we would just laugh and say dumb stuff together. So some of the most fun I've had in life was with some of my former just gay friends. Just laugh and say dumb stuff and just talk about the past. Um, so it's not like I want to like treat anyone poorly, but I think just in general, like for the culture outside of when I'm just saying dumb stuff with with some of the gay guys, and I was just saying super funny, like super dumb random stuff. It just makes us laugh. Um, I think outside of that culture, like for other men, and even for myself, because I only hang out with those people for like I met most of like those people at work. So when I'm not at work, I'm not having a good time just because of the culture that my sort of old friends produce. And they probably don't have a good time because I guess they're gay, so they don't like. I guess they don't like the straight culture. Maybe it's not. Well, if I really put myself in their shoes, yeah, I don't think they actually. I don't think they even enjoy gay culture that much because it becomes so toxic. It's like so many people are involved in it now. In the '90s, there was like uh, take this with bear with me when I share this because I wasn't born in the '90s. In the '90s, I'm pretty sure there were like gay bars, gay clubs. There was like a lot of space for gay people, but not for gay and LGBTQ people. Everyone has gotten involved. Everybody has an opinion. Um, like myself, like men have an opinion on gay people. Women have an opinion on gay people, LGBTQ people have an opinion on gay people. So not everybody is involved in an LGBTQ's life or a gay person's life. So their life is a lot more like convoluted than in the past. Actually, um, I think you can ask a gay man that was born in like the '70s or '80s. I think he can verify this. Just the culture nowadays is a lot more toxic because everybody is involved. Everybody is in a gay person's business. It's everybody's business now about who's gay, who's not gay. Um, so the culture is actually unfun for everybody because the um, the burden of performance is not there. So we're missing the burden of performance. Women are no longer chasing men because there's just lower quality. There's not a burden of performance. And gay guys, everybody's just involved in their business. Everybody has an opinion. Um, Christians, non-Christians, the topic is sort of really mainstream in society. So I suggest, like my humble suggestions, just that just the airy faction out there is that I think I'm not sure we should call it truce. Um, well, actually, it's not really a truce because I think really we should just like racism, stop like really like Denzel Washington said, stop making it a mainstream topic. So I think to really push back against, I think for the gay and LGBTQ community to really implode in themselves and really just give up the pride flag, give up their organizations, give up their queer stop pushing it around, not because um, not because it's ineffective, but because it's really taking away a lot of their satisfaction. Because before, no one really minded too much about gay people, but now it's so mainstream that everybody has an opinion. So I think I think so. I guess my point, I guess my wrapping up, the point I wanted to conclude with for that build was that, as a culture, like I sort of hinted at it, like regardless of whether you're Catholic or Christian, I think to maximize fun in this culture, it's important that we seriously push back against gay and LGBTQ. We don't let men like George Soros or like a lot of um, like wealthy left-leaning philanthropists really push around in gay and LGBTQ people. I guess what are they getting out of it? Maybe easier women, as there's less competition. Maybe certain women are easier for them with their money. I think besides that, maybe more tax dollars. But I think yeah, I don't really see what actually I do see like if because there's strong men out there. I understand the strong men, they have an easy time with women, but men that are weaker, they have a harder time with women. Sort of really do a lot of like I wouldn't say they really pull a lot of strings. They can't like they really put in like I'm trying to think they put in like a I'm not sure effort is the right word or saying or saying they do certain things, but they really they really go about attraction in different ways and just focusing on becoming desirable. They do a lot of other things besides becoming desirable. So I think like a lot of wealthy guys, they don't understand women or that have trouble with women. Maybe pushing this gay and LGBTQ is getting making their lives easier with women. Like I'm really not too sure what they're getting out of more gay and LGBTQ people. Because if especially if some people are lower righteous users, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense for them to really push gay and LGBTQ. It's sort of chaotic, and righteous users sort of value like they value order and morals more. So I think, and with how much money people are investing, it's like they're throwing a lot of money at it. So it's not like they're in it for the money. There must be there's a reason. I think there's a particular reason, um, and I think it has a lot to do with people's soul slant, whether they're hyper righteous, medium righteous, lower righteous, and this applies for like the devil's eyes too, and the hybrids. There's hybrids that are righteous leaning. There's hybrids that are devil's eye leaning. And for the devil's eye, it's like hyper devil's eye, medium devil's eye, and like lower devil's eye. So it's very interesting. How I think my current understanding is how people's soul slants play a part in sort of where they lean on politically, and a really remedy for this unfun culture is really to really put an end to the gay and LGBTQ culture, not the people, because everything was fine in the 90s when everyone did their own thing. But now that it's a mainstream topic and everybody is involved, um, it's as well as well, if I argued that there's more gay men and that there's a burden performance increase, there's a burden performance to disappear. So there must be just like I think also re-educating. I take back what I said. I think also re-educating some gay and LGBTQ men to become straight to increase more competitiveness among men. I think that's super important as well. And like with those two like treatments or remedies in mind, I think we can really bring back a fun culture. And I think probably the funnest like places on earth probably have the most straight people. It's just like Russia. I'm pretty sure um, Mr. Vladimir Putin, he banned like a lot of satanic stuff there. So it must be fun in Russia with just every guy being really straight. So there's a good amount of competitiveness. There's a high British performance, and the woman being relatively very feminine compared to other countries. And there's a lot more people who are qualified to talk about that than myself. But I think just comparing that culture to the like New York City in the USA, just even though even New York City seems like really wealthy, well, I think. Mm, so actually, New York City that's an exception. That city is pretty fun. That's actually, yeah, that city is pretty fun just with the culture. But like the average city in America is really hurting from gay and LGBTQ culture. So definitely that's sort of my stance on it, that we push back against, like we really push back on gay and LGBTQ culture and the pride flag and the people pushing it, because they're getting a lot more out of it. We out of the situation than we are, and to really bring back the competitiveness within men, bring back the burden of performance, bring back the competition, healthy competition between men, and after that the woman will follow, and life's gonna be a lot more fun as a guy when a guy like when you pursue like a woman and um, she's not running towards a career, she's not um, running towards something else, because guys aren't as high quality as before. So I think definitely just a sort of societal breakdown of like more justification, more reasons why people should really fight back against gay and LGBTQ. Like if you have a sign outside your home, it's like, I welcome everybody in the world, I support everybody in the world. With all due respect, please take that down. It's not beneficial to the world. It's not beneficial to a fun world. I'm sure you don't realize it yet, but or maybe some people are very used to it. It was actually um, respectfully, it was a lot better. It was a lot better in the past, and I'm sure respectfully as well, I think those individuals would have had a lot more fun in the past too. It's just ideologically speaking, some people don't realize they're kicking themselves in the foot. Like people who went open borders, some people just don't realize what they're doing to what they're doing to themselves. So that's very interesting. That's definitely another topic to talk about, how people don't realize how much they're hurting themselves until even when it hits them. See, some people still don't understand. So that's definitely just some talking points, just sort of breaking down what happens in society, what's currently happening in society, and I hope people can really maybe unpack it, maybe critique what I said if there's anything incorrect, and just really maybe digest it and maybe spit out what they think is like with those factors, what they want in society. Maybe some people like maybe someone wants to turn the LGBTQ in like a different direction. Maybe it's time to um, maybe there's a gay person watching this. Maybe it's time to add a new letter. Well, LGBTQ plus. I forgot. That's pretty much all inclusive. But maybe with these factors, maybe gay people see an opportunity to like really harken down, like really double down. But I do think it's not a good move. I really do think they'll be happier, um, just being like being a wallflower again. I think that's when gay and LGBTQ people will be the happiest. But I think some people might disagree with me. There's some gay men that really enjoy the chaos in this culture. Probably the devil's eye users, most likely, and people who really dislike it are the hyper righteous eye users. So again, we sort of have the vibe of the souls there. So lots of factors at play. And I hope maybe something here was digestible. I hope something here was valid enough to digest. And yeah, that's just sort of some thoughts on the current society and really, I think, my stance on the gay and LGBTQ community.